Hey folks, this is Best in Slot. Welcome back to Warren Valley Zoo, our North American, very Halloween-y themed build. We'll skip forward a little bit today because you did see the actual build of the shell of this building, that's a lot of the word build, in the last video. But the idea is that this is basically a cinema, theatre sort of thing. Now, things change fairly dramatically about halfway through the video. The build makes no sense by the end, but it was fun, so that's what matters. Shut up. Right, so I'm just working on the actual shell of the building, getting the sort of the basic outskirts there. The idea was very much that this is an old school classical style building, very much, you know, little town centre kind of thingamajiggy, but, you know, it kind of dilapidated over time, and they decided to put the cinema in there. You know, it's an old abandoned building, as all my buildings are. So it's kind of like got the very old architecture, but then the fittings and the inside, there's a lot of modern stuff going on, a lot of glass, a lot of lights, and I really wanted to get that kind of clash between the two aesthetics. It was, again, loosely based on the real world cinema that I could see, which had very much the same rough idea, whereas this very classical sort of marble and plaster and blah 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 building, but then probably not plaster actually, stone, lots of stone, and then high-tech stuff. So just working on the stony bits, using a lot of limestone. It's a combination of the limestone set and the classical set, basically, which is very British. The whole zoo is a weird hodgepodge. None of it's really that consistent, which is probably why I need to just do a more general zoo, but what are you going to do? This triangle really annoyed me. Why has it got a stupid thing on the bottom? I just wanted it to sit on top and make a bigger roof, but you actually can't do it because it's got a line as part of it. Down with lines, that's what I always say. That's my philosophy. No realism, just vibes. Actually, this is the first exhibit where no realism, just vibes really applies. You know, it perfectly suits what I've been going for here. I actually quite like the crocodile, but it does get removed, unfortunately. But yeah, just doing some detail work here, lots of things, just making the building look a little bit more interesting, really. A little bit less laboring, as they say in French, probably. And yeah, I don't know. There's nothing. The windows were a problem. These things here, I don't know what they're called. I can't remember the name, but they don't fit anything on them. Like, the windows don't fit. I tried about 50 bloody windows. I tried those ones, but I don't like the style. I wanted square, or I wanted rectangular windows, basically. These ones are okay because they're more 3D, because they stick out more. You can kind of get away with it, that they're lying on top of existing architecture. Sorry, I just had some chicken and now I'm like dying. I don't know why. But yeah, so just separating the windows out, just little details, a little bit of pizzazz. Really just building up to the next bit. The next bit's where things get fun. Like, super fun. I wanted to do like a carpet inside. We don't really have a carpet in Planet Zoo, because why would you have a carpet in a zoo? But I'm not building a zoo, I'm building a ancient cinema, so it would be nice to have a carpet. I ended up using, it wasn't this, I think it was just wood, because I kind of wanted to push that kind of modern aesthetic on the inside. I do like the idea of like this ancient building housing this hyper-modern stuff inside. I think that's a pretty cool thing to do. It's very in right now. It was in about 10 years ago. You know, all those churches that get turned into bars and stuff like that? It's the same kind of idea. And there's a lion, because why the hell not? Lions, well known for being prolific in North America, you know. Cough. And at least it has evil eyes, because of course it bloody does. Actually ends up looking pretty amazing, as you can see. Unfortunately, that'll get dimmed down. I do have to light up the inside of the cinema, otherwise people would die. So unfortunately the lion had to chill out. But the next build, no more of that worry, no more worrying about people falling over and stuff like that. Pure Halloween horror aesthetic. Very excited to get started on that one. So what I'm doing here, I don't know the official term, and it's quite hard to explain because what I'm doing right now looks like nonsense. But yeah, there's the Zombievers. That's what we're playing. That's the film we're showing, because it is a proper existing film, as in I can get clips for it, basically. And I'm just having it to Photoshop now and again and kind of working on things and cutting the video here and there and just trying to build one of those old classic cinema signs where you've got the lines going across and then the now showing text, and you know, a cinema that would only show one film at a time. That's kind of the vibe. And Yeah, it looks pretty cool actually. It's going to end up looking cooler. Bear with me. Got a retro cinema. It's weird because it's like an old building and then a modern interior, but it's kind of a retro interior as well. I really wanted a theatre sign above the top. The game needs smaller lights. It's becoming an issue for me. The smallest light is still too big and those stick out a little bit too much. I just wish we had a teeny tiny bit more control, you know? I wish we had a scaling option ideally, but yeah, I considered a few different things, but it just, yeah... See, it just sticks out, and I kind of realised this is not going to work, so I thought, oh, maybe I'll make a sign in Photoshop that says theatre, and I'll stick that above there, and that doesn't really work either, so I made that. There you go, but it also doesn't work, so scrap that, done with that, moving on, trying something new. So, we need to light up our sign, of course. It's meant to be glitzy and glammy, kind of like 60s red carpet cinema kind of idea. And building a little, almost Art Deco, I guess, in style, little thingamajiggy. I don't know what you'd call it. It's just like a thing. That's literally, I don't know what to call it. It's just a thing of lights that kind of just sticks out at the top. It just, you know, makes it look a little bit flashier, basically. And I'm going to do a little bit of that all around the side. Just give it a little bit of Shazam. Now, this was before I changed my mind about what I'm doing. I'm just kind of just building out the trees. It always helps, you know, have a bit of a backdrop to what you're working on. Still desperate to get that theatre sign in there. Never worked. Funnily enough, a lot of the ideas kind of came from the cinema that I went to when I was growing up. There's Odeon back in the Northwest. Well, I'm in the Northwest now, so I don't know what I'm on about, but... Wait, is this big change time? Nope, not yet. So I was trying to... I went inside, I was like, right, how am I going to actually do this? How am I going to make this work? And I realised it's not going to work. Let's change everything entirely. So a lot of you suggested in the last video what I should do is a drive-in movie theatre. That was like... And I thought that was a really cool little idea. I also really like that beaver. I do end up getting rid of it, but I do like the beaver. I thought that was a really cool idea. So... And this is why I say it doesn't make much sense. What it turns into is a cinema that you walk into to buy tickets. It's basically a giant ticket office for a drive-in movie theatre, essentially. It doesn't really make sense, but I wanted to do both, and I'd already worked on the building. I wasn't going to get rid of it, so... And I just like the idea of the drive-in movie theatre. It really made sense with these big things that we've got. So, yeah. These are going to be movie posters all along the outskirts of the building. And on the inside of the building, you know, you go to the cinema, there's adverts for other films. Unfortunately, I realised there's no room in there, so I had to kind of adjust the entire layout, which is what I'm doing right now. Moving all the fences around, spreading the path out, just so that the front of the cinema opens up a little bit more, and you've got access to more area where I can put these posters, again, because I remember explicitly the cinema that I used to go to had 2 posters on either side of the front of the building, and I wanted to have that in there. Building little display cabinet sort of thingamajiggy, eventually, for the, I think I used the tiles, yeah. Little display thing for these, just so, you know, they're not just floating randomly. And they're going to sit on the pillars and advertise myriad horror films, all animal-based horror films, of course. I didn't end up making the posters myself because I've got like 20 posters and it would have been a pain in the ass. But they're all thematically appropriate. And what I wanted to have is, again, like it would classically, is have the cinema sign curl around. Ideally, it would be curvy. That would have been great. But unfortunately, that wasn't really an option. What I'd really, really like is a 2-meter projection screen as well. We have a 2-meter TV, but the problem with the 2-meter TVs, it's got a very noticeable border around it. So if we could get a 2-meter projection screen from here, that'd be lovely, thank you. Even a 1-meter, that'd be great. Anyways, I brought in the inside so that the screen could curl, like, so the advertising bit here could curl around the entire thing, which meant that I lost the bit that the posters were attached to, so they had to move as well. And there we go, there's Zombievers and Black Sheep, Moose Jaws, Piranha. I've never heard of Moose Jaws, to be honest, but I found it. But the other 3 I'm well aware of, at least. Piranha, one of my favourite films. All 7 of them. I don't know. I want to say the original, but it's not actually the original. Funnily enough, Piranha was made, and then 10 years later they made another film called Piranha, which is basically the exact same film, but more modern. And I believe it was written by the same guy, or even directed by the same guy, I can't quite remember. Lights. Beams of light. Lights are cool. You know me. What am I doing here? God only knows. Oh, yeah, so I'm just building the lights for the under the archway that leads you into the building. I wanted to have like a little light display in the roof kind of thing, and build that into there, and then that goes into there. It's got like a little, again, slight Art Deco, given the angular nature of it. I would suggest it's slightly Art Deco-y. I wouldn't say it's, you know, a full-on homage, but it's got a little bit of that vibe. I'm just going to bring the black up there, just so the lights kind of hang down and light up that entranceway a little bit. I just want it to be flashy and glamorous, you know, but kind of cheesy and tacky at the same time. Those two sound like they don't mix, and it's because they don't. That's all I've got for you. They don't. But yeah, lots of lights, lots of colour. Changing out how the back works, bringing out the entrances to the side instead. These will eventually lead you into the drive-in movie theatre, with lots and lots of cards which were not made by me but will be well credited to the respective authors. This is the ticket office, or will be a ticket office. At this point I was kind of still struggling with what materials I want to use and how I want to build this stuff up. I decided to stick primarily to the stone and then add things on top of the stone, basically. That's frogs. There's also Beast Day. There's Bear. And The Curse of the Cat People. Some classics in there. I tried to stick to the cheesier ones. If I went for everything, you know, I could have gone Crawl, or Into the Grizzly Maze, or Jaws, and stuff like that. You know, all these... Or The Grey, blah, 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 blah. But I wanted slightly cheesier, weirder stuff, essentially. Because that's the kind of films I like. Didn't know what to do in the middle. I really liked the idea of the gold, but it was a little bit too much. But we do integrate that into the build in just a second there. So this is going to be like, I didn't know what to put here, quite frankly. And I figured a lot of cinemas have sort of displays for upcoming films. You know, you'll have like usually a big cardboard cutout, but sometimes it's got lights, or sometimes it's got a little model and it's for an upcoming film. So that's the idea. Sitting there under the lion is going to be a display for a upcoming animal horror film. It's a very niche cinema drive-in theatre experience, okay? It specialises exclusively in animal horror films. What you'd call a natural horror film, technically, is the official term. And there's tons of them. And this cinema only sells them, and it doesn't do very well. Actually, it does very well. It's the only... Imagine you live in this small town, and there's only one cinema in the entire place. And, like, there's no other town for miles and miles and miles. So you have to go to this cinema. And the maker of the cinema only cares about animal horror films. That's the general idea. So the film is called Barely Alive, because it's got bears in it, and they eat people. So I'm going to let that one sit there for a minute. Excuse me, yeah. So yeah, I like that idea, actually, that the guy just, you know, it's his cinema. He does what he wants. And the townspeople just kind of have to deal with it. Like, oh, what do you know, there's a... June's out, you know, new sci-fi epic's out. Do you want to go see it? No. We're going to go see Piranhas 7 or something. There's actually only 4 Piranha films? 5 Piranha films. Piranha the Spawning, I believe, is the sequel. Then there's Piranha 3D, and then there's Piranha 3 Double D. So there's 5 Piranha films, unless I've misremembered. I mean, official one's called Piranha. There's more films about piranhas, but one's actually called Piranha. Anyways, lights. So again, I stuck to the stonework, but just it needed lights in there. And normal lights just didn't feel appropriate for what I've been building here so far. It felt a little sci-fi to an extent. And I wanted some lights on the roof, but I also wanted a pattern or something. It's very plain right now, so I'm going to build a little pattern out of these pieces of stone, kind of blend those in there and make like this crisscrossy looped pattern kind of shebang, which I thought was pretty cool. And then we're going to stick the lights into the center of the loops, and that's how we're going to brighten things up. So you see, it's got that, maybe that's not as Art Deco, but it's got a little bit of that vibe to it. It did unfortunately lighten the lion. I got rid of some of the lights around the lion to bring that home a little bit, but you know, the lion's still lit up. The lion's lit, bro. So the shop's there, that's the ticket office, as I say. So a little bit of glass in there, a little bit of metal to modernise it, but still in that classical core. And now we have to write the word ticket. Tickets, even better. It's going to sit up there. I'm going to light that up, obviously. Oh, actually, the lights for this are pretty cool. They stick out a little bit, as you can see. I don't know, I see this a lot on like retro-style cinemas, where it's like tubes of lights and they always... hard angles, but then they bend inwards like that. I don't know, it looks pretty cool to me. So that's lights, tickets on the left and refreshments on the right. Refreshments doesn't fit. Food and drink didn't fit, so refresh is what we've gone for. Like we're a energy drink brand or something like that. And there's going to be a menu and there's going to be something else there as well. What am I doing with my life right now? Who knows? The door was a little bit, needed covering up, essentially. A little bit more stone just to integrate the modern aspects better into the building, was the idea. I'm not going to pretend for a second that any of what I'm doing makes sense. It doesn't. But that's okay. It is what it is. Building a little table and chair section here, just using, making like little stools out of the circles and the poles. I'm going to change the tables as well very soon with these ones, I think. Not even those ones, little ones. Where's that gone? There we go. Just little tables, just little, because it's next to a refresh section. So I just wanted to, I just wanted to fill that space. If I'm totally honest with you, well, these made a lot of sense. They're not the comfiest looking stools in the world, but I feel like those sort of round, circular, red stools are very cinema or cheesy dining. I see people do this all the time, but it's become such a trend in Planet Zoo. Where people, I don't know who did it first, but I've seen about 7 people do it. Where people get the Australia sign and they dig it like halfway into the ground so it looks like mountains. It's pretty cool, I gotta say, it's really effective. Just kind of shoving stuff in there, if I'm honest. So, pumpkins on the tables. It's Halloween. Gotta have pumpkins everywhere. A little bit more on the stone again, just again building that out, making the modern aspects fit a little bit better. And I wanted a pattern on the ground as well. The ground, I can't psychologically handle like big swathes of open space. It just bugs the hell out of me. So I'm gonna build like a little, it kind of looks like a basketball court, I'm not gonna lie, and that wasn't really the intention. It was modeled off a real world design, and it's not off a basketball court. But the idea is just to split the cinema up a little bit and give it a little bit of intrigue on the ground, make it a little bit more interesting to look at, essentially. And I'm going to darken that in just a second. There we go. And that blends it in a whole lot better, I think. Now, what am I up to? This was me trying to make an actual Art Deco shape. I wonder if I could integrate that. But I think it would have been a little bit too much at this point. So I think the inside is near enough done. I'm going to chuck in some plants in the corners. Not sure that makes any technical sense. They could be fake. They could be real. And we're going to have some bathrooms as well. Because people need to, vacate their bowels. It's just the way it is, folks. We don't make the rules. I quite liked how that looked with the signs hidden behind the doors. It wasn't really on purpose, but it kind of worked out. And some refreshment signs, just general stuff to make it feel more cinema-y. Wanted more lights because I can't help myself. And a little bit of a red rope there as well, because that's just what you want from people who've gone to the bathroom. You want a nice, soft, absorbent rope sitting outside, especially in the age of COVID. This is a COVID-free zoo, okay? Right, so this is where I decided to go for the thing. This was the last half an hour or so that I recorded. And this is the screen. This is the outside theatre screen, again based on a real-world build, because I don't know what they look like. I've never been to a drive-in theatre. It's not really a thing here in the UK, unfortunately. I would love to go to one. I think it sounds like a really cool idea, but it's just not a thing here. So, just built this on a real design. It's got like a metal frame. Frame? Is frame a word? I wonder if frame means anything. I'm going to Google that. It's got a metal frame. I can't stop it now. Metal frame. Metal frame. And some jutting out bits at the bottom. Just wanted it to feel moderately sturdy. And this was really the challenge bit here, because it has to be a walk-in exhibit. Oh yeah, I should justify the Arctic Foxes. So, originally the idea was going to be that this was going to be a theatre. And, all these vehicles, by the way, I didn't make any of these because I'm not a crazy person. These were all taken from about 6 different workshop artists. And I just picked what I thought looked like the best ones out there. These people will all be credited later on in the video. I've got like a little thank you section inside the cinema with the names of all the artists off the vehicles. Then you've got our vehicles. They're driving movie theatre. You've got our vehicles. But yeah, it's a walk-in exhibit, so it's kind of tough. I don't know. We've only got one type of guest gate. We don't have like a more appropriate guest gate. They all look like that, unfortunately. It'd be nice to have a glass one or something like that, but we just don't. So kind of had to use the wood one. It kind of looks a little bit weird, but I do end up blending it into the building a little bit more than it is right now, at the least. More than this as well. The Arctic Foxes. So originally the plan, my original idea when this wasn't a cinema but in like a theatre, was that, I guess that would be a cinema in America, but for over here, theatre is in for plays and such. And it wasn't. It was going to be a magic show, and I was going to build a glass tube or glass pod, glass box is the word, at the centre of the stage, and then put some blood around it. This doesn't really make sense, but the idea is that it was going to be like a escape artist / magician, and it went wrong basically, and he was just going to be dead on the stage. It was a little bit morbid, I'm not going to lie. And then the ghosts of the past, you know, visitors and the people, the past artists who ran this theatre would haunt the auditorium, and that's why there were Arctic foxes, because they were ghosts and they were white and they were representing the ghosts that used to live there, that do live there, the people that lived and died at this theatre were the Arctic foxes. That works a little bit less well outside, but it's the same rough idea, right? It's just the Arctic foxes they've just chosen to live here. It's a nice place for them to live. Or they're ghosts. Either or is fine by me. But we're going to have 8 of them. I'm trying to stick to the actual numbers that the animals would have. So it's 8, and it's a mix of males and females, 4 to 4. For the Arctic foxes, we'll be adding those in just a second. Got to do a little bit of tied up foliage work over here. Just got my little patch. Again, there's another habitat where the habitat itself is not really the focus, to say the least. You know, it took half an hour to do the entire outside section, only because I was going to say stole the vehicles, because I'm using the vehicles. This is like one of the times where using the workshop does not feel bad at all, because there's just no way I was going to sit here and design intricately like 7 or 8 different types of vehicle. I'd have absolutely lost my mind. And yeah, so it's just a trailer for Zombievers. It's about 1.5 minutes long, but whilst the trailer maybe doesn't make sense, it's a good way to show lots of different parts of the film and mix things up, and I didn't want to get Zombievers and then cut Zombievers and stuff like that. So that's just a WebM file that plays the trailer for Zombievers. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go check it out in-game. We'll watch the trailer, we'll hang out a little bit with our Arctic foxes. I'll see you in a sec. Right, here we go, folks. Let's take a look around. It does seem more appropriate to do so at night time properly. It's not really the Arctic Auditorium anymore, if we're totally honest. If anyone can think of a good word that would work, Arctic Amphitheatre, no. Arctic Adventure, not really. It has to begin with A, or it has to begin with A or F. Fox Fun Times. I don't know, something to do with an outdoor theatre. Fox Theatre, but we spell it theatre with an F. Fear, as in, oh no, spooky. There we go, sorted. Fox Theatre. Anyways, so Zombievers now showing. I'm pretty happy with this. I think it looks like I wanted, like a classic building with that sort of retro but modern cinema aesthetic. I like that you can see inside and there's stuff going on. There's colours and lights and, you know, a little bit of a sightline going on down in there. There's our films. Black Sheep and Zombievers. And of course Piranha. I believe this is the Spawning. Yes, this is the sequel to the second original. And Moose Jaws, and then we head inside. So as you can see, the lion is less spooky now because of the lights. And there's a little display for Barely Alive. There's Curse of the Cat people down there. There's frogs. There's Beast Today. Here comes Peter Cottonhell. And there's Bear. Little seating area. We've got a little refreshments area over there with a menu on the wall. And our, patterning on the ground as well to bring it all together. On the other side, we've got our bathrooms. We've got Rise of the Animals, which is my favourite. And, oh no, I've messed up my ticket section. Bear with me. It's fine for now. Whatever. So there's the ticket office. It's a little bit plain in there. I could have to do with putting some stuff on the walls, but it's the same as the Refresh. It's got some modern bits to it. So let's turn that back off. So vehicle credits. These are everyone. I ended up not using one of them. I can't remember which it was. But Nathan Cole, Romano, Darth Delicious, Busy D, Evil Monkey Boy, Bobson, and Nick all contributed vehicles to what you can see outside. So if you check these people out on the workshop, actually, if you just search car, these are the ones I would recommend. Then there's the vehicle credits anyway. So screen this way. Let's head outside. So you do have to go through a bit of it. I might close this off, make this not open top. It's a little bit weird from the back, but there it is. There's our drive-in movie theatre. Fortunately, a lot of people made their cars with. Some of them have got the exhaust running. A lot of them have, nice lights going, like tail lights and headlights, which is really cool. And it just gives it a nice atmosphere. Lots of different colours, lots of things going on. Now that is obviously the wrong... I just really like this. You can do this one in there. Look at it. Oh, it broke. It worked last time. Okay, so we're going to change this now for my WebM, which is down here. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're just going to watch the trailer. We're going to sit inside one of the cars. Let's get a little bit closer, I think. So this is what it would be like to watch this. Yeah, I think that's very cool. It looks like a driving movie theater at the very least. Hopefully there's nothing in the trailer that's too spooky. If you are very, very, very scared of horror films, I guess you should maybe not be watching the trailer, but it's a jokey horror film. There's some stuff here that might get me in trouble, admittedly. Can we have less bikini shots now, please? From the producers of Cabin Fever, The Ring, We're the Millers, and American Pie. That took a very quick turn, didn't it? Oh, Zombievers. What a classic. The next level of zombies. Beavers! I need some audio. I could actually, it's funny enough, we could download the trailer audio and put that into a speaker and have it actually play. That might be cool. People are getting killed by this. It's about a minute and a half that we're going to have to sit here, I'm afraid. But you deserve to see the whole thing. And you can see the foxes, you know. I quite like the environment for the foxes because you see them run in front of the car lights every now and again. It keeps them lit up. Ah, the beavers. It's nearly over, folks. It must be nearly over, folks. In theory, it's nearly over, folks. Zombievers. Oh yeah, this is the end bit here. Spooky stuff, man. Look at it. She's half beaver, half human, half zombie. They'll damn you to hell. Get it? And then that plays again. Question mark? Yeah, sweet. So that's just going to keep on playing now. That's our Zombievers movie trailer. Oh, Sleepy. Hello, buddy. Look at that beauty. Let's swap over to daytime for a little bit then. But yeah, that's the driving movie theater. I can't take too much credit for it because at the end of the day, it only looks cool because it's a bit haphazard to say the least. But it only looks cool because of the work that other people have done, essentially, in terms of the vehicles, anyway. Everything else was just my immense talents. So there are 8 Arctic foxes. They do have food and water and happiness, and they've got a humongous environment to explore, it must be said. Aren't you? I know it's not an Arctic-y environment, but I mean, they only live in an Arctic environment for like half the year anyway. There's the water, the food is there. I wanted it to stay relatively around the cars to make the foxes hang around the cars, basically. You know, the fence is off there, sort of in the bushes. It's quite hard to see, especially at night time. Where are you off to? But they can you know, dart around behind the cinema and all that kind of stuff and have a good time. Aren't you, buddy? What's your name? Mickey. Mickey, that's a beautiful name. Mickey, I'm gonna call you. Where are you off to, Mickey? Keep hearing the little yeah, we've got German police cars. I think this is actually meant to be Paul's Lay. I think that's who it was designed for. I'm not sure. But, yeah, either way. Because not all the vehicles necessarily make sense. Like, who turns up in a coach? I like to imagine someone is in here in the coach watching Zombievers. That would make me happy. I might stick some more... and it means there's like 5 of them. I might stick some more foxes in here because... whilst I do technically have the correct amount, 4 means they're quite hard to see half of them. Where are they? Right there. Hello. It's an interesting dichotomy we've got going on here. The playful, happy, joyous, adorable Arctic fox, and then a gratuitous bikini shot of a Zombievers horror film in the top left. We're messing around with some different vibes here. I hope people don't take an issue with this. It's at the end of the day, it's a trailer. It's really not showed anything that people should be worried about. Nothing that you wouldn't see at a beach. Oh, no, you're so cute. Nothing you wouldn't see at a beach, and everyone takes kids to the beach. Just don't let your kids watch Zombieva. That's all I'm saying. Hey, you could do. It's up to you. I played Resident Evil when I was like 7 or something. It did give me nightmares though, so I'm not sure I'd recommend it. They are adorable, aren't they? We'll have to... I mean, we can sort of pretend they're ghosts. I'm not sure how much sense it makes. I I need to catch that while it's in the light, I'm afraid. So you get a nice close-up look at one of our... I don't know, it's quite cool, especially with the bigger vehicles. It kind of feels like, you know, when... like a coach trip kind of holiday when everyone would park up on their coaches and maybe they wouldn't watch some beavers, but they'd be in the area. They'd do something. That's not the right lighting, unfortunately. Where are you off to, buddy? Who are you? Getting a drink. Zoo Tycoon. That's a fantastic name. Shilap. Aww. 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 Okay, right, well, we will end it there. That is our drive-in movie theatre / cinema. It's all utter nonsense. Next build, then, we're starting on this bit over here. We're doing the same rough thing again at the start. We're going to build a very classic front shell, I think. And then we're doing something a little different. It's going to be 2 habitats in one. It's going to be a roller coaster. Or like a tour, because I guess the car doesn't go fast enough to be a roller coaster, but it's sort of a roller coaster. And it's going to take you through some dark... It's just going to be very cheesy Universal Studios roller coaster, like the Mummy ride kind of thing, where you're in a very dark space and things light up at the side, and there's going to be films playing, and there's going to be 2 different exhibits in there, and then you're going to pop out the other side, and things are going to go proper horror mode after that, because this is still cheesy, happy town horror mode, and that's what I'm going to move away from eventually. However, saying that, I've got all the exhibits planned throughout here. So there's 2 exhibits here. There's going to be the sea lion and the cougar. And there's 2 exhibits over here. That's the frog, the toad, and the alligator. They're both over there because they're kind of themed, not together, but they make sense together. But I actually don't have anything to put over here on the left-hand side. I don't have an idea for that now. I don't know what I would build there. So what that means is we can take an animal from outside of the North American pack. Has to still be North American, but we can take a non-pack animal, North American one, and build something for it here. So I don't have any ideas for that. So if you've got any ideas, any thoughts on an animal you'd like to see over here, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. And more importantly, you know, what kind of exhibit would you have? We've had an old haunted church, we've had a corn maze, we've had the general bridge entrance section, we've got the drive-in theatre. What small American town, slightly cheesy Halloween-y kind of thing haven't I done yet? Bearing in mind I'm already doing a haunted house, that's what this is going to be, basically. So feel free to let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you lovely folks next time. Thanks for joining me. Cheers much as always. Bye-bye.